Hi, my name is Gleny and welcome to the NEWSTART Kitchen. We're here today making some vegan Matter Paneer. So basically Matter Paneer is a North Indian dish that is based off a tomato stew with some aromatic spices and some tofu along with peas. So I'm excited to make a healthy, good version of that today. So in looking at some of the ingredients we have, you'll be having a block of firm tofu. You'll notice that I kind of baked it in advance just to make sure that it's firm. I have some water for sauteing the vegetables. I have 1 medium onion, 5 cloves of garlic, about 2 inches of ginger, added a little more for a little bit of kick, 3 medium-sized tomatoes. I have about 1.5 teaspoons of salt, about 1/2 teaspoon or so of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, about 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of bay leaf powder, about 1 teaspoon of fennel seeds, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and about 2/3 cups of cashews. I have about 1/4 cup of vegetable broth. We have about 1/4 cup of frozen peas, along with about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. We have some coconut milk and some cilantro leaves for garnishing. So I'm just gonna turn the stove on. And usually you'd use oil, but of course we're trying to be healthy here. So we're gonna add some water for sauteing instead. Of course, when you're sauteing with water, you wanna make sure that you don't burn your stuff. So again, you'll have to keep a careful eye on this. Then eventually I'll be adding some of the onions in here. Some good red onions that have amazing properties. Then I'll add some of the good garlic as well. And some of the ginger. There's a little bit of ginger in here, but I personally like to have an extra kick to my meals. You can always reduce the amount. Right now, I'm gonna start adding in the tomatoes, these 3 tomatoes that were diced up really well. And once I get that all mixed up, I'll be adding in all the different spices, if I remember them correctly. I have some salt. Again, towards the end, you can taste and see if you need more salt and adjust accordingly. It's better to start with less, of course. And then I'm gonna add some of the cumin in here. You know what? I'm just gonna start adding in everything. I'm gonna add some of the coriander, some of the cardamom, and the turmeric, and some paprika. I mostly just add this for the color. And some bay leaf powder, along with some fennel seeds. And you can continue mixing them really well. We're back and we are seeing the vegetables really blending in together with the rest of the spices. You see the beautiful red golden color coming in together. And then after this, I'll be adding in the cashews to make this a little creamy along. Oh, I forgot one thing we need: the tomato paste. Tomato paste is essential. Or you could just add more tomatoes, but this works as well with really giving in the umami flavor into this dish. And then once we have this mixed up, I'll add in the vegetable broth. And after that, I'll probably let it cool a little bit before we put this all into the blender. So our sauteed concoction is actually cooled down a little bit. Now we're gonna transfer this into the blender and blend this. All right, so I'm just gonna grab the top, put it, and then blend it up. Once you've blended this, you can transfer it back into the pot. See, it's nice and smooth right now. So I'm putting this back onto our stove. Turn on the heat once again. So now I'm gonna start adding in the rest of our ingredients, which isn't too much. I'm gonna add in the tofu that's been baked a little bit. And then I'll be adding in the frozen peas. That's quite a bit. Then I'll put in some of the maple syrup. And a little bit of the cilantro, we'll leave some for the garnish, but I'm just gonna add a bit right now. Then we'll just mix that in and let it all heat up and come together for about 3-4 minutes or so. All right, so we're almost done with our dish. As you go through it, if you try this recipe out, I recommend that you can play with the spices. You can get creative. If you're like, this needs a little bit of salt, or maybe more than salt, maybe you want to add some more coriander or cumin, feel free to do that. I'm gonna add just a little bit of lemon. I think that will kind of help with the flavor a little bit more and lift the flavor up. I'll put that in just towards the end before I dish it up. I'll mix that in and then put it on to this plate. Of course, this is something that can be served with some good rice or some naan or anything you'd like. All right, so I'm just gonna put some of the coconut milk on top. And then add some of the cilantro for garnish, and there you have it. Super simple, doesn't take so much time. You can whip it up in a few minutes and you have a good healthy dish to have just at home.